Guitar Center was not a fond place for me. I mean, it was a fond place for me, but I slept the Skins, you see, the Skins and the Zildjies, and it was a very loud section of the store. A shocking number of people who worked in the drum department actually committed suicide soon after they started working at Guitar Center, because so many kids come in and do exactly what Bree did to that beautiful set of Skins.
Hi, hello, and welcome to another brand spanking new episode of Another Bachelor Podcast. My name's Dylan. I'm zooming with Nick Davis, a real Nicholas Davis. Excuse me. I already feel too far away from you guys. Nick, how you doing?
What's going on, everybody?
Pat, the producer of the podcast, is over there next to Nick. I'm far away from him too. I'm not with you guys.
Yeah, I'm sad about that.
I'm super sad you're not at 1 Street.
Fucking bastard.
We have this running bit that we do on the podcast where we give out Patrick's address and he gets really angry for new listeners. How are you?
Thanks for correcting that. I forgot what show we're doing.
We have a fiery, romantic episode of The Bachelor Presents: Listen to Your Heart. Do we have any PSAs? Any news we want to get out of the way before we start?
Thanks, Dylan. Thanks. Okay. So I don't know if a lot of the baby birdies that are listening to this are aware, but we actually have a thing where you can pay to hear us talk like we're doing right now, and it's called Patreon. And Nick, tell them where you go to do it.
Maybe we should be hot and super funny for a while before we plug it, but either way, you go to...
Yeah, I was gonna say, I want to throw to Nick to see how angry he is on a scale of 1 to 10 that Pat's plugging the Patreon at the top of the show.
A 2.
Hey guys, I don't want to hear what you guys have to say about me plugging this goddamn Patreon thing. I need to wet my beak. All right, so this one I'm putting out there. I want to hit like 500 Patreons in the next month. That way I'll be able to pay myself, and I'm going to buy a Peloton. So, boy, that was hard to get out. So, everyone know this. If you sign up for Patreon, you will be paying for a Peloton bike for Pat. So get in there and sign up for it.
There's so many sad things about that statement. The Peloton... It is a stationary bike, sir.
It is not just a stationary bike, you idiot. It comes
it's a
with
stationary bike with
a
stationary bike with a gym membership. Even better.
You know what I was going to say? The saddest thing about that is, I don't know, wake up maybe and realize that the thing to get is a mirror. That's what my Patreon money is going to go to, a mirror.
I just saw that.
Hey, so we should really get into the show now. We have this segment called General Thoughts, which is a fan favorite one. Pat, why don't you kick things off?
I'm going to go right now?
Yeah, I can't do the fake out from distances far away. I can't do it. I got to be in the building.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm listening to my heart, Dill, and I'm fairly certain I hate this show. It's Bachelor in Paradise without people in bikinis, and the music's very annoying. Zero nuts.
And Nick?
I'm actually digging it quite hard, but I will say after week 2, there is now a deep, deep hole in my heart. A deep hole I'd like to call Mariana's Trench. An unsung hero was sent home early tonight. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but let's just say the name of that trench is very apt. I still like the show 72 Knots.
It's called Mel's Trench?
No, it's called Ruby's Trench.
Hey, that was forced and not great, and I apologize for it. Guys, they start...
More like Mel's Ditch.
I'm how dare you? I'm going to get into my knots right now, but I want to start with the preview of what we're about to see, which, I mean, what would we do without those? But they show so much shade. They show so much tea. It got me so excited for the episode and the season, but it also made me really concerned because how could these people be so affected by one another if they've never really met? I gave it an unsure 75 nuts. So Matt, the guy with the beard, serves as our red to start the show. He gives us a breakdown of who we've got coupled up. And Pat, do you want to do a little roll call here? I know it's an unusual time for it, but
oh, sure. So you want a roll call of who's already coupled up? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Set the stage.
Here's a roll call of the people who are already coupling up. Bree and Black Chris, who I'm pretty sure is gay. They're picking out kid names. Danny, who looks like Joel McHale but slightly retarded. He's into Becca. And Jamie obviously is into Trevor. Oh, while Dylan interrupted me, I was going to say Trevor's a cheating bastard.
Emotionally.
We'll get to all of that. I'd like to kind of toss up a clip of Chris and get your guys' thoughts.
I was so sure that you would give me one, but at the same time, like, you could have called somebody else. And so it's like...
I could have just been playing you the whole time.
And I would have been like, you're evil.
I told you guys last week, gay man. Gay man.
Oh, you're the one who put that in my head.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also all his affectations.
I'm pretty sure he's gay.
Okay. All right. And just leave 5 stars. So, we can check off trauma with Chris. His father passed away, which is really, really freeing for him in this competition. He's divulged the trauma that he's had in his life and now can fly to great, great heights at Guitar Center on Sunset. But before we get there, I'm getting ahead of myself. Harrison walks in. He looks like a priest with a Ducati. It was a very interesting outfit choice from him.
Did you know Father McHugh?
He says the legal minimum number of words that he can, and then gives Jamie a one-on-one. Now, how do we feel about this move from the Svengalis?
Well, it's all right. Let me say this about this, and this is why I'm not a fan of this show so far. Okay, I get that you're picking, giving these people date cards and allowing them to pick, but this is how you make it fun. You force them on dates with people that they're not already coupled up with, and then you see if you can get some chemistry cooking there. Why are you allowing them the people they already like? The fun here is forcing them to like someone else. I should have been a producer in another life. You know what I mean?
Natural dynamics, though, kind of dictate that because there's always someone hotter who's torn between going for someone hotter than them or going for the low-hanging fruit. And that's how we see all of these things erupt. There's Julia going for either Brandon, who's out of her league, or Sheridan, who's low-hanging fruit. The point is, it plays out on its own. I think the show's doing its diligence.
I completely agree. I just think it's bad TV. I think that the mouse needs to have faith in his characters, and I don't think he has that right now. And I don't care how violent he is. I'm not going to be muzzled. Okay. She picks Trevor, a casual suck-it loser to Ryan, and then they head off to Venice Beach, which is a filthy fucking place. We learn a little bit about Trevor. And I'm not necessarily sure that I buy it. He says that he hit the boardwalk every day over summer and played music for people. I just think, with the gym time and how bad he is or how average he is at singing and playing guitar, I just don't believe this tale of sweat equity amongst strangers.
I 100% concur with you, Dylan. He doesn't have what it takes. When you're on these boardwalks with this boardwalk kind of gig, okay, where you throw your guitar case open and people are supposed to be walking by unsuspecting tourists and, oh, wow, this guy's got a great voice. Let me go over here and watch this. This is entertainment. Oh, this is free. Wow. You either need to be a super, super talented person and just capture the attention, keep a nation spellbound, or a homeless person. Mm-hmm. With a guitar and a dog.
I was gonna
sometimes a monkey on a chain. It's all sad.
I was going to say you either have to be supremely talented or you have to be swallowing knives to get this kind of crowd. Or just have cameras because everybody knows that lenses are like a fucking light bulb to a fly. But anyways, Jamie claims to have had to dim her light for a lot of people in the past. But Trevor's lets her shine. I don't care what he does to you. He's a B- at best. And if you had to do a competition, you're going to get a flamethrower in the face at the judges table. Okay.
And to piggyback on that, Dylan, she doesn't need Trevor. She needs to know, I'll give her a song. It's called This Little Light of Mine. All right. and it goes, I'm going to let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And that's what she should do. She doesn't need Trevor. But also, quit
Yeah,
shoving Jamie down her throats. Why is she getting all the dates?
I would say that, yeah, I mean, this little light of mine, coupled with Alicia Keys' This Girl Is on Fire, and then maybe a book from Gloria Steinem, I think that she's really going to rock it ahead in life.
And Tony
but
Robbins.
Anyways, is there anything else you guys want to cover before we get to a meanwhile?
No, I think we need to get to a meanwhile. Can I do it?
All right, let's get to a meanwhile.
Meanwhile.
Natasha shows up. Natasha is 33. And sorry, what was that, Pat?
Oh no, I what?
He thinks she's like 42 or something.
Yeah, or 38
Well,
or something. I don't know.
She, you know what? I have to say, I love people from New York and Boston who are like no bullshit, but I don't like the people that say that they're no nonsense. I don't like the people that talk about how they're going to tell it to you square in the face. You know, I feel like people that actually do that just do it and don't have to peacock like that.
Right. And also, it's you saying that basically means you're a bitch.
She looks like a Disney princess, but one that's kind of been beat down a little by life, you know? Like, she's 33. She's not 17. Jafar may be gone, but it's not a happy ending after.
She's 38. She's not 17.
Oh, let me pile on here, Del. She's 33 and she says her occupation is pop singer. I tried doing this in our debut show here, but I was too drunk to articulate it. Let me tell you something. If you haven't had a record deal or had your song played on the radio by 30, it ain't happening, sweetie. Okay, now this is just some sad dream that you have, and that boyfriend that's bankrolling these fucking recording sessions just doing it because he wants to keep you happy. All right?
And the only reason you're here is the instructions you were given from the producers to start slinging shit everywhere the second you get there, all right? It has nothing to do with your talent or your pop songs.
Well, I like that take, Nick, and let me say this. Natasha came in hot, and again, not to get ahead of myself, but she was built in a lab of reality TV. I mean, it's all there.
Yeah, she's like the $6 million thought.
She says she's looking for a baby daddy. Now, if that's an expression, I mean, that's implying a really tough situation that you're dealing with. I wish you good luck and Godspeed. But if you mean it, that means we've got a mom on a reality television show about singing, which it's always a touchy subject, but it's always fun and very sad.
Well, actually, Dylan, that's funny you say that. American Idol was notorious for having the single mommy that leaves 4-year-old Todd back in Milwaukee or something, and then she'd always say right before she was going out to perform, "I'm doing this for Todd."
Yeah,
sure you are. Sure you're doing it. I'm sure Todd's so happy that you're doing it for him.
Right. It's like when Renee left her child because she had such a good thing going with Juan Pablo, even though she'd never met Juan Pablo in her entire life. It's that kind of thing.
It's ridiculous.
So okay, so let's get back to the seagull shit stained Venice boardwalk. Jamie and Ryan sing him very poorly.
Oh, yeah.
And they bring in a decent little haul here, guys. $82. I mean, that's not a bad hour's work, or should I say hours falling in love.
Especially not bad if you're doing it by yourself. A little dumb of them to be splitting up that cash. They could have two different corners. And it's kind of like when I see Postmates drivers, couples, they're doing it together. Like, you're making about $8 an hour at that point. It's not very economical, but it is kind of cute.
I don't know. I think that you're underestimating Trevor, and I think that he ripped that money out of her hands, and when she asked what he was doing, he just yelled that he needed it. And I think that was kind of the end of the conversation. Let's get back to Natasha. She very proudly announces that she's Chilean and French, two cultures that love mayonnaise, believe it or not. And that includes cool stuff from around the world with Dylan. So anyways, the Svengali strings are as thick as telephone wires here, guys. She walks in and she's like, "Trevor from American Idol?"
Like there's only one Trevor.
Yeah, those were her only two clues. His name was Trevor, and the man evidently is musically inclined. And she knew exactly who this motherfucker was.
She'd kill it on Name That Tune. You guys probably a little too young to be familiar with that show. I'll do it in 2 syllables.
Yeah, definitely too young for that, and thank God.
I do well in an early 2000s rap version of Name That Tune.
Oh wait, Dylan, are you trying to allude that possibly Natasha just came in here blindly and just happened to know Trevor's ex? Was that what you're saying?
Telephone wires, boys. Telephone wires. Okay, so let's get back to the beach.
I think they told her to do it too.
Jamie and Trevor break into a random person's home, go out on their balcony and get into their hot tub. Now, Trevor asks Jamie about their last relationship, to which she says, half solicited? I've been cheated on by every guy I've ever been with. Calm down. Just getting to know each other here.
I'm always fascinated by people who haven't been cheated on by someone. You know what I mean? Nick, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I've never been cheated on.
Oh, yes, you have. And you know what? You've cheated on someone else, too.
No, I haven't.
All right, I don't want to be friends with you. You're weirding me out, man. Let me tell you something. So you haven't fucking lived unless you've cheated on somebody. You have. If anybody before the age of 25, no relationships ever end without that other person making out with somebody at a party, a bar, or something like that. Trust me. You just don't know.
Sounds like Patrick's trying to dole out forgiveness to himself.
I think he's just espousing natural facts.
Isn't it interesting that Trevor somehow knows to kind of do a little, get out ahead of a story that may be at his front door soon, and little does he know, possibly hours. He notes that a relationship went on a little too long, and then it didn't go well, and he might have hurt somebody. Some bullshit like that. That always means I was sick of her, and I was banging somebody else, and then I dumped her ass. I mean, okay. I'm not going to say that's code word. I'm just going to say that is what it is, all right? But that you're playing a nice guy here, all right? But you want to know why I know he's doing that?
How?
Because a little podcast with the name that starts with the letter P did that a few times. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought you were going to take this opportunity to plug your narrative work, your literary work, and you were going to talk about the fucking book that you wrote.
Well, I don't want to do that because it's shameless. But if you are in the business or interested in learning how to close ass for less money, check out Cracking the Code. It will be up on our Patreon probably this week. I think you can buy it for $59.
Who's that guy that makes all the noises? His name's Phil
Hendrie.
Hendrie. Is that who you're talking about?
Makes all the noises on radio?
You said podcaster, starts with a P?
Yeah.
You're talking about Phil Hendrie?
All right, so guys, Rudy's pretty fucking fired up when she hears this news. I mean, it's almost like she knows all these people intimately and they're like her family or something. Pat, let's play a clip.
If they have a chance to talk about a breakup and he doesn't say the full truth, that's when I'm gonna be pissed. If he has that opportunity, he better freaking take it, and he better be damn honest.
Hey, Rudy, what are you writing a fucking book about this guy? Why is this your business? Stay the fuck out of his life and worry more about your side of the fucking street. I hate people like this.
Patrick was ahead of the game on this one. He said Rudy was crazy last week. We thought she both bodied Matt, which she did still, but it's a false dichotomy because she was also crazy. And this is the first of many instances we see tonight of Rudy being completely batshit. Slow down.
You know who else is really fired up? That's Natasha. She has unbelievably strong opinions on what may or may not be the future relationship of two people she's never met who are on a first date. Why are you talking like this? Why are you talking like she thinks she's in a daytime story?
I think she does. She's definitely coming in here with an agenda, and it's no more obvious that she has this agenda to destroy Trevor than when Jamie and Trevor come home, and this is what happens when Trevor walks through the goddamn door.
When did you get here? Freaking cute. I got here today, and I know you.
How do we know each other?
Let's talk about it. I'd like to talk to you about it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like you look familiar, but I can't figure out how I know you.
Well, let me remind you. You want to go have a chat?
Let me get settled first, and we can chat.
I'd like to chat now, to be honest.
Oh,
that's okay.
Wow. Okay, sure.
Yeah. Come on.
Okay. All right.
See you girls in a little bit. Bye.
If I was Trevor, and you know I'm a gentleman, okay, I would have said, I'll let you know when we can chat.
Dear.
Hun.
I would have said,
Tuts.
Probably followed up like, what the fuck's up? Say it here. What do you got to talk to me about? I don't even know you. You're blonde. You look like Corinne Olympius, but you're older. What do you do for a living?
That is Corinne looking in a mirror that shows you 15 years into the future.
I don't want to be any stronger an ally of men than we've already been tonight. But he sits down and some pretty shocking stuff is revealed. He was unhappy in a relationship and didn't cheat on her.
Oh, Dylan, and you want to know what this psychopath responded when he said he didn't cheat on her? He said he emotionally cheated. Do you know what she said to that?
Yes, I do. I watched the television program, but why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what she said, because it's quite fun.
She says, that's worse. It's worse. Call me crazy, but I'd say coming on someone is worse.
Pat, it's so funny that you say that, because I said that emotional cheating, I disagree with the fact that emotional cheating is worse, because regular cheating, and follow along here, regular cheating, it covers the emotional part already. It's kind of embedded in regular cheating. But the other aspect of regular cheating is bringing another person to climax that isn't the person you're dating or married to, which is worse.
You're assuming two things, if I physically cheat, that I have any feelings towards this other person, or that I care that they climax, Dylan.
No, that the latter is a great point, but there is an emotion attached to it, whether or not it's possibly murderous hatred for the person you're cheating on, or you really like the person you're not making orgasm.
Oh, I think it's physical carnal urge.
Hey, Nick, if Penguin can do monogamy, I think we can too. Just have more faith in yourself, man. You're setting the bar too low.
Hey, can I do a meanwhile while this melee is going on between Natasha and Trevor?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jamie's breaking down over a man she's known for 19 hours.
She takes this news not well. And by not well, I mean, I'm almost positive this is the most traumatic thing that has ever happened to 21-year-old Jamie, our Lady Gaga of our story. Now, let's get to the date card. Believe it or not, it's Jamie again. No, I'm kidding. It's Brie. They head down Sunset and they point at all of the places that Pat played not sold out shows to.
You bet your ass. Oh man.
They then do you want to tell any stories, any of the sad ones, anything like that?
Oh no. Well, I mean, just a lot of people don't understand this. You come here with the big hopes and dreams and you're like, I want to play the Whiskey a Go-Go. I want to play the Roxy, the Troubadour, the Viper Room, all these venues. And it turns out those dreams can come true, but they're going to charge you $1,400 for the pleasure of doing.
Yeah.
At the age of 30, the money that I'd accumulated as a professional musician was minus $28,000.
Yeah. And you think you can go down to Barney's Beanery for a cheap bite, but the chili cheeseburgers are $14. What the fuck is going on? Anyways.
How many years were you at it? There is such thing as a lifestyle business and nearly breaking even. I mean, you're living out your dream, Pat.
Don't comment on how pretty he is, and don't deny that you ejaculated on a laminated picture of him the other day in your car, okay?
It's incredible that you point out how pretty I say Pat is when you talk about how pretty every other male is.
You know what? I got an eye for him. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so they arrive at the Guitar Center on Sunset Boulevard. Now, Guitar Center was not a fond place for me. I mean, it was a fond place for me, but I slapped the skins, you see, the skins and the zilgies, and it was a very loud section of the store. And a shocking number of people who worked in the drum department actually committed suicide soon after they started working at Guitar Center, because so many kids come in and do exactly what Bree did to that beautiful set of skins.
Oh, Dylan, you're so right. But you're doing the drum version because you were slapping the skins, okay? I'm a guitar player. You know how fucking noisy it was in there? You couldn't even hear your fucking self think. And by the way, well, congratulations, Guitar Center. I looked you up just this week and see how you're doing as a business. You're $1 billion in debt and you're going to be filing for bankruptcy this year. Shame on you. Turn those guitar amplifiers down.
I also looked up online the historic Guitar Center on Sunset. So much so that I have a Yelp review of the Guitar Center on Sunset.
That's fantastic, because if you didn't have one, I fear Patrick would have punched a hole in the Pat cave.
He has seemed very tense tonight. Here we go. This one's from Derry J. 503 friends on Yelp. Concerning, but only 9 reviews, which is weird. Derry J says, I used to be a loyal customer, spent thousands of dollars here, but when I bought an amp that was broken, returned it, added pro coverage, and then needed the pro coverage later to cover repair, they turned a blind eye. I attempted to retrieve a receipt from the store, but they only had a record of a handful of purchases I had made there, not nearly all of them. Then I called the pro coverage hotline. They had a record of my purchase and my pro coverage, which was great, but then I got an email from their company saying that they needed proof of receipt and I could get it at Guitar Center in store. So now I'm in a vicious cycle. Done shopping here. They keep spotty records, even though they sure take my phone number every time I buy something and send me junk mail every month. Do not shop here. Support a local store that cares about you. 1 star, if that wasn't clear.
You know, Nick, I'm glad you brought up the poor customer service that they have at establishments like this. Guitar Center was notorious for the employees working there with a little bit of an attitude when you were in and out of there, which also reminds me of another place like that, Amoeba Music. For those that don't live in Los Angeles or San Francisco, there's this thing called Amoeba Music where a bunch of fucking hipsters are pressing buttons on a goddamn cashier. You go up there because you bought the new Vertical Horizon record or Third Eye Blind record. They give you a fucking side eye. You're like, hey, you judging me? Look at you, you fucking loser. You're pressing buttons on a goddamn cashier. Who's the loser here?
Yeah. Who's the loser? You've seen the Mars Volta 472 times.
Yeah, you have BO and you're ironically wearing a Bill and Ted's Excellent Journey t-shirt. Go fuck yourself.
Okay, so just because we haven't talked about the show in 10 minutes,
all right,
let's get back to it. So guys, this is what I think a large portion of people came to The Bachelor Presents : Listen to Your Heart for. Pat?
Truth is, yeah, I want to tell you everything, yeah, but I just can't yet.
And that's okay, 'cause I know how you feel.
Do you?
I think so. Well, you showed me something last night. When you gave me that rose, I was frozen. Oh my gosh, so nervous.
I'll pick up that rose, yeah. Every petal screaming your name. Oh, Christopher. Ooh. Will you accept this?
Oh, Bree, I do. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm here for you. And it was the best decision I have made in a long time.
You know, I've often talked about endeavors that, while the commitment is admirable, should be shot in the leg immediately as the gates open. This is kind of one of those things. The horse fell behind on this one, and it was shot in the head after it ran. Nobody needed to see it run. Everybody knew it was going to happen. The horse should not have been subjected to this kind of embarrassment. Feel bad for both of them.
When she sent that photo of that dress to that the guy she's engaged to, and he called her immediately and says, "Don't buy that dress because we're not getting married." Some people like to see things like that as a a glass half empty. I say it as a glass half full because this dude saved her a few grand.
And I would say just because someone broke off an engagement with you is no reason to fake a love romance with a gay guy on a television show.
Okay. What do we have next? They sit down and they tell each other after a mere 72 hours of knowing each other that they are in fact falling in love with each other. I think that these two people should be institutionalized. So let's get back to Jamie and Trevor. He kind of fesses up to what is a disgusting kink, that is texting girls about fucking and sucking them when you're in a relationship with somebody else. It's unbelievable.
Well, I like what Trevor does here.
Quit shoving Jamie down our throats. Raggedy Ann.
Thank you.
Okay. Here's a little bit of a hot take here with crazy Jamie, who's perpetually being fucked around on in every relationship she's ever had. Of course she should leave this guy. He's bad news. Even if it was emotional cheating, she should get out of here and go find some nice guy who's does accounting or something. But you want to know why she needs to forgive him? Because it's the guys have the roses this week. She needs that fucking rose. She can't break up with him right now. Maybe she's a little more cunning.
Hot take.
Anyway, Trevor and Jamie, it seems like they put it to rest. They make out, and Natasha, what she tried to do is now on his S list and persona non grata. Mm-hmm.
And the S list is people who are so yucky you think they belong in the Slytherin house, right?
Correct.
Okay, so Sheridan and Julia get a date card. They're cute, but not a good sign. She feels that she says that she feels zeroed in on.
I think we cover this, or capture this rather, very well in our episode 1 original thumbnail of Sheridan peering over Julia as she was making out with Professor X.
Yeah, who should be able to walk by now. You know?
Just think about it.
That was a great point.
Him, not you guys.
Right.
So they head to iHeartRadio for a guest segment on none other than Valentine's morning. This is very, very uncomfortable. Dare I say unfair to put people on live radio and a hot spot on live radio the way that Valentine and the gang do to these two people. I just thought it was ridiculous.
Well, yeah, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but they did a pretty good job. But I hate the premise of this because, all right, this is how horrible hacky radio is. And everybody listening to this, you're listening to a goddamn podcast. But if you're in your car in the morning going to work, sometimes you make the mistake of pressing the button radio.
Yeah.
And you listen to hacky radio morning. Valentine has been a mainstay of morning radio in Los Angeles for 20 fucking years. This loser hack radio personality is the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah.
I hate it. When I saw his face, I fucking got angry. But just, you're like, what are you making? $70,000 a year? You've been doing this for 20 years.
He's the line cook of audio broadcasting.
Yeah, exactly. That's so, both of you are dead nuts on. I will say, and I'm sorry if I offend anybody, but morning radio is for stupid people. There's no reason why people should be listening to morning radio. It should be a dead art. A dead art. I loathe it with all my heart. News girls, most boring role in any creative endeavor ever. News girl, you got to be kidding me.
I will say that the structure and the format is something podcasts could adopt to just tighten up and kind of define themselves from a vast landscape of.
Okay, so let's move on to their performance. Now they sang, and I have to say, she is a 2003 star. Not one today, but one that really could have given Michelle Branch a run for her money.
Oh yeah. Her voice is good. It's not unique, and dare I say, too old to be chasing this elusive dream. It will never happen. He's pretty good too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I will say she's very good at the roar singing. You know, that kind of thing. Anyways, let's get to the
superstitious.
This is probably an important time to bring this up with these people. Nick, you fought me on this last week, but I told you some of these people were in their fucking early 30s showing up here. And if they're listing their birthdays here or ages as 27, that means they are in their 30s. That's what musicians do. They lie. They deduct like 3 or 4 years on their age. This is a sad thing to allow these people to get a little sample of fame with this singing thing, okay? These losers should have hung this up 4 years ago. But now they got on this show, and now they're going to get a little fucking heat, and now they're going to be chasing this dream another 10 years. These are the sad people that you're at a cocktail party or something like that, having a good time. You're like, what do you do? And they're like, I think we're going to be going on tour later this year with Littlefoot.
You're a waiter.
You're like, Littlefoot from the 60s? They're still around? How many actual like real members are in there? Or make the mistake that I made one year. I was at a birthday party and this nice couple was talking, and I said, they said, what do you do? And I was like, well, I used to be a musician, but I decided to hang it up after 30 because I didn't want to be a loser. And I turned to them and I said, what are you guys doing? And they said, we're musicians.
That's a hilarious story, Patrick. So let's move on to the next day.
Next day.
The new girls arrive and Matt can smell them, which says something about their hygiene or his superhuman sense of smell. We talked about Professor X. I mean, recruit this guy, huh? You can smell danger from a mile away. Anyways,
is that actually what we have here? Is that the twist they haven't told us about? This is actually the Academy of Special Afflicted People? Because
it looks like the grounds of the Academy, seriously. But, 2 new mutants show up. That is Mariana, who says her name like Giada says carbonara. And we've also got Ruby Jane, pink hair.
Rudy announces that 2 girls have just arrived, and I would like to make a correction there. 1 hot girl has arrived, and possibly another drunken one-night stand candidate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Ruby was a chicken head, just a girl you take home, you wear out.
You guys have been absolutely disgusting tonight, and I feel like if I'm in the room, it's a little easier for me to curtail, but we have a chicken head on the first episode, and we've got a chicken head on the second episode, and I think that it's just too much.
Can I say that Ruby herself said her reputation is for fucking guys from out of town who are attending bachelor parties?
She said that?
Yeah.
She said that.
Not only did she say that, it was her opener. There's a lot of talk about love language, which is really nauseating. And let's just move on to Mel.
Mine is giving. My love language.
Oh. Honey, what's my love language?
Touch. You love touch. Tell her Nick said touch.
Touch in words of affirmation. Oh. Nick said touch.
For Dylan.
He knows that because I constantly try to touch them. But
you kiss a lot of dudes.
I do kiss a lot of dudes. Okay, so...
Oh, she's angry.
No.
I really have taken a liking to Mel. It breaks my heart that she's so infatuated with Brandon because, again, watch out for this one, ladies. And watch out for the flying whiskey glasses that go along with being in a relationship with him. I'm kidding. He's a great guy. This country should take care of him.
Oh, 100%. Let me get back to Mel here for a second, the crazy Asian chick with the purple hair. She admits that physical touch is gross to her. And I don't blame Brandon. I'm pretty sure I saw him, like he went in the corner. It was off camera a little bit. He had a pad out. I believe he was scratching her name off the list.
I mean, if she attacked him with this porn star kiss that was like her last ditch effort to stay on the show, and that's not gonna work. Man, she saddened me.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel really, really bad for her because when Savannah takes Brandon, she is just heartbroken. She's really, really sweet, but snooze you lose, bitch. Savannah and Brandon residents for some baseball stakes and some jazz. Guys, who are these hospice escapees on stage?
Oh, come on, Dylan. I don't think you set that up well. This is date 3. Is that
they were at the Dresden. He killed it. I know where they're at.
No, I know that. I just want to make sure that for people that have lived in Los Angeles for a long time, and also fans of the film Swingers, this is Marty and Elayne. These two old fogies have been playing that fucking establishment for 38 years. And dare I say, much like Guitar Center and that drum room and guitar room, too loud. You walk in there trying to have a conversation, trying to work a girl up so you can get fucking laid or something. You're like, what? You got to go outside so you can goddamn have a conversation.
And then other people are looking at you like you're not supposed to be talking during the performance. It's like, hey, it's here every night, guys. You're not missing anything. And also, they're old and decrepit and not very good at music anymore. I mean,
you don't want a restaurant that's too loud. And you don't want a restaurant that's too dark. And Musso and Frank's, the place that we'll be dining because of your Patreon contributions, is neither. Head to patreon.com/Another Podcast Network. We'll see you guys there. So anyways, do you think it was a good idea to tell the audience that we're going to spend their money on fine cuisine for ourselves?
Absolutely. I think that's a fair trade for covering Juan Pablo's season of The Bachelor, season 18.
Thank you.
Pretty good.
Thanks for tagging that with what we do there. So anyways, back at the house, we've got some pretty sad stuff here. It seems as though Julia has zero interest in the Bradley Cooper that took her breath away on stage at iHeart. Now, I mean, I just feel bad for the guy. We'll get to the rose ceremony, but I mean, what do you expect? You know, maybe you get a different car. And don't be so impressed by the fact that you drove 12K in 365. What am I doing? Why am I saying numbers like that?
I will say I appreciate that he took extreme ownership of the situation. He admitted, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to cough.
Let's get back to Dresden's. They do a fine song. I would say 71 Pots, but I'm not that impressed.
Are you insane? Are you referring to their rendition of Fever?
Of Fever, yes.
Peggy Lee would be rolling over in a grave right now. I thank God she doesn't have a television in her tomb, because she'd literally be rolling over in a grave. Whoa, it was horrible.
I knew that you were going to be super offended on her behalf.
The only barrier to her rolling over in her grave is a television.
Can you imagine how ironic that would be?
I'll tell you something. I think that the most impressive part about this is that they know all these songs. They know so many songs.
You fool! You fool! While you're busy reading all those boring books that you try and impress everybody with how smart you are, I know, you're a bookworm. Yeah. These narcissists are out every night at karaoke bars. You learn every song. It's not for smart people. It's for narcissists that can read a fucking screen so much that it gets ingrained in your dumb monkey fucking brain. Trust me, that's how they know these songs. They go out and sing karaoke every night. Believe me, I was one of these people.
What was your song?
The Darkness, a little thing called Love.
Oh, that's a great song. I doubt you hit any of those tough notes. Mine is Reminiscing by Little River Band, though I would never be caught dead on doing karaoke because it is one of my greatest fears. And also, I do have a problem because I only know about 3 songs by heart, not including Happy Birthday. And I'm not including Happy Birthday because I can never remember the fucking words. It's a huge problem. Nick?
I know most of the words to Happy Birthday, and my karaoke song would be, but I also don't do it because of the giant fear of it. What Would You Do by City High.
Love that song.
Everybody does.
Also Rihanna's We Found Love. Oh my gosh, I love that song. I turn into such a little bitch when I hear that song.
That's like me with Fergie, Big Girls Don't Cry.
Let's get to the next morning.
Next morning.
Julia walks over and through the French fryist voice tells Sheridan that him and the Subaru are not going to, quote, work out. Do we have anything to say about this, or can we get to cockies and rosies?
I do, real quick.
Okay.
I don't know why Julia is doing this. It is completely honest, and if you're going to be playing this game, and maybe she doesn't understand how these rules work, you got to stay on television as long as you can so America can fall in love with your voice. She's putting herself in danger here. You tell Sheridan, hey, I'm actually going to go pick this other guy, and this Brandon guy decides to flip the fucking script and not pick her for one of these newbies rolling in here, which I would have done. Julia's getting her walking papers, and so is her, I don't know, prospective singing career. Instead, she lets Sheridan know this. I'm confused by all this. Someone should have told her, lie, and when you're done lying, dig deep in your pockets of being a fucking liar and lie again. That's how you end up being famous.
Okay, so let's get to Shitface walking in. He notices 4 out of 50 people coupled up and says, guys, it looks like this is working. Then tells them that a rose ceremony is coming. Thank you, Chris. You can hit the fucking links if you want. So Mel sits down with Brandon and tells him that she's terrified of him. Hey, me too.
But not because of him, because of the poor healthcare system in America.
Well, that and also, the sharpshooting training is kind of scary. Anyways, Brandon then sits down with Jules, and I get a vibe that he's not attracted to any single one of the girls in this house. I think that he's just kind of playing this puppeteering kind of sick game.
But he's another knucklehead. Why are you telling Julia that you're leaning towards Savannah? Just lie to her.
Yeah, they need to either read How to Close Ass for Cheap on the reg, but what is it called?
Those are both iterations I think he has out actually on shelves available.
So Natasha, the 33-year-old mother of 2, pulls Ryan aside, who is 14 years old, and she begins to completely seduce him.
What Natasha was doing when she was making out with Ryan was sucking the youth out of him, and maybe his life energy will keep her young.
Yeah, she's like the bad guy in the first Mortal Kombat. Xiao Lung or whatever, who rips the souls out of people. She's really 75 years old. So anyways, Rudy is up next. Now she sits with a production assistant and says that she feels like she needs to listen to her heart. Now, I know the guys have the roses, but I think that this strange man who's paired up with Becca, I think that he needs to be eliminated from the show. I mean, I don't have any idea who he is. I don't think that he said a single word. He's been on the show for 2 weeks now. Well, she carries on from, I think his name is Danny, to go make out with Ryan. And then very enthused heads over to Matt and proceeds to have what looked like a mental breakdown in front of him. She smacks him in the face and then sticks her tongue down his throat. And I think that this is something that Matt's pretty into.
You know who wasn't into it? This podcaster. If the roles were reversed, can you imagine? Matt walks up to Rudy and says, he just got done wiping off the fucking saliva of 2 other whores that he just made out with. And then he grabs her by the fucking throat, fucking smacks her across the face, and then throws his tongue down her throat and then smiles. How do you think America would feel about that? You think he'd be still on this show?
And the night before, he just completely had told her off.
I think that we just want to reassure that our female listeners, tonight was just a unique kind of night, and I'd like to apologize on Pat's behalf. So
I'd like to
don't apologize for me.
Shall we get to the rose ceremony?
Okay.
Pat, gonna need a roll call.
Oh, you want a roll call of everyone who picks everybody?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Roll call. Here's who picks everybody. Gay Chris. And don't fight us on this. I'm not a homophobic. Chris is gay. He picks Bree. Trevor picks Jamie. This is going to be fun to watch. Matt picks Rudy. They should just pick each other for the rest of the show. That way they can stay on the show. Okay. Ryan picks Natasha. Danny picks Becca. I still have no clue who those 2 people are. I just reading their names. Brandon picks Savannah. Gabe, no clue who this guy is. He picks Ruby, I guess, the homely girl that showed up earlier. Sheridan picks Julia. You fool, Sheridan.
Guys, unfortunately, my favorite Mel is going to be going home. I'm really, really sad to see her go. And then she says that if Brandon gave her a rose, she would have spent her entire life trying to prove that he made the right decision that night. And after she said that, I thought, okay, well, good riddance. Have a great time off the show. I will say that she comes back in and Brandon looks at her with the eyes of the sniper a remorseless gaze that only a viper can don. He has no sympathy for her whatsoever. He is a cold-blooded killer.
It's crazy that you said Viper and Sniper, though their striking distances are vastly different. The precision is no different.
Okay, that is the end of the episode. We will be back next week to break down another brand spanking new episode of The Bachelor Presents, Listen to Your Heart. Remember, head on over to Patreon, www.patreon.com/Another Podcast Network. We're breaking down Juan Pablo's season. We've got PMZ, lots of fun video content over there. Join us there. Also, hop in the iTunes ratings and reviews. Leave 5 stars if you can. And join us on Facebook. Search Another Bachelor Podcast. I'm Dylan. Say goodnight. Nick, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye.
All right, I'm leaving.